powdered donuts, sugar candy. Welcome. This is the ReUp. My name is Jason Delgado, coming to you with another exciting episode. More insight, more perspective. Hope everybody's staying safe and staying well and staying clean. This week we have a very special guest, the hilarious, the very talented, the very beautiful Miss Rachel Dee will be joining us. Rachel taught me a lot about comedy, to be honest with you. Showed me sort of the ropes of what writing a joke is, sort of the teacher part of it. And for good reason. She is a former teacher and now a hilarious woman, entertaining people around the world when that was a thing and will be again. Anyway, this is the ReUp. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're a bit old-fashioned in Missouri. We do things the old-fashioned way. Like, I had a kid before I had an orgasm. That's how we do it there.
What you just heard was the hilarious, the beautiful, the talented, the funny, the ever-present Rachel Dee, who I have on the podcast now. Rachel, how are you?
Flattered. Thank you, Jason.
You're amazing. I wanted to do this podcast even early, but she was so busy that she couldn't muster it until today, and so we're lucky to have her. I'm grateful to have you. How you doing? How you holding up?
It depends on the day. I'm really lucky to keep myself busy and find different ways to stay busy. Mm-hmm. Like, you hear that dog in the background?
Oh, I know. That's exciting. I probably will show a picture of the puppy for the video vlogcast version.
Yeah, I'll have to send you, when I first got the puppy and now, though, because, he was 15 pounds when I got him, and now he's 50.
That grows quickly.
Yeah, he's huge. He's a big boy now.
Yeah, it's like adorable and more expensive as they get cuter and more expensive.
Yeah. Well, and he's stronger than me. He's already when he stands on his we can dance. He's that big.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And did you get this right before the outbreak whammy?
Well, so it's my boyfriend's dog.
Okay.
But we kind of got him together, and then the stay-at-home order happened, and so I've just been staying at my boyfriend's house.
Okay.
And taking care of the dog and that sort of thing, because he still is working every day.
Did you get the dog, though, you got it before things happened?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
In January.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, getting a dog now is pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I see people with, new puppies all the time. I feel like it's, a new COVID thing. It's got nothing else to do. Might as well adopt a pet.
Yeah, no, I know a couple comedians. Shout out to Hank, who got a dog for quarantine. Yeah.
It's the new companion. COVID companions.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. You got to have something to do. No, the reason I wanted to bring you on was because I wanted to discuss a little bit of that, more flattering, so I can get put on your TV show. But no, and honestly, one of the things on the come up was that, Rachel, I always see, was so hardworking, so instrumental in being sort of a teacher of sort of the comedy ropes and the hardworking nature. And I've always been sort of the lazy one. So when the quarantine happened, I was like, it's my time now. But I can't imagine what it's like for people who you, who are road comics, who are always out, who are always hitting the road, to be nah. What is it like? Have you been adjusting? What have you been doing? Anything you can kind of break down, for those with a mental state issue?
It is so crazy. I don't know, maybe this will make other people feel better about themselves. But I went from working really, 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 really hard constantly.
On the road always, yeah.
To just nothing. I couldn't even imagine being funny. I couldn't think of anything funny. I couldn't tell a joke. It took me a really, really long time to even start writing again. I think I took an entire month of no comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And then people kept bugging me.
Yeah.
Which I really
God bless them.
I love it. People kept bugging me. People kept saying, hey, will you do this? Will you do this Zoom show? Will you do this this talk show, will you do? And I was saying no because I just couldn't muster any funny. But they just kept bugging me.
Yeah, I bugged you. I remember, Rachel started an episode of Support, and it's the only episode I got comments on YouTube where they're like, "Oh, I love that girl's voice. She's such a badass. Who is she?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's one of those things where." And then I saw you, in that skit where you played a birdie girl. We'll talk about where they could find you at the end of the podcast. But it was all this acting stuff, and I was like, "Oh man, she transitioned rather smoothly, because you did great with the Support. And now you're doing this other thing." And then I see on the Zoom shows, and I'm like, everything's fine. But I was like, nah, there had to be some growing pains a little, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was tough. I was actually really so the acting stuff I did before comedy,
yeah.
But and I love voiceover work. I love voiceover work.
What, paid to stay in your pajamas? That's the best, right?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, the Zoom was actually really intimidating to me.
I want to know.
It took me a lot to be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Benji, the guy who convinced me to do his show, Glassdoor Comedy, he was just super sweet and very complimentary and telling me he's like, nah, you're a smart cookie. You got this shit. He was
smart cookie, kid.
Yeah. So he was very, very supportive, and it's actually really fun. I like them.
I want to know because I'm in the position on the other side, so I wanted to get a little bit of a breakdown on that. Because in that nature, kind of, out there doing the thing, I see a lot of comics doing it, but I was like, then I saw you do it, and I was like, I want to find out what Rachel thinks of it. Because, everybody could have, starry dreams, but Rachel back, hey, listen.
Well, it was intimidating, and then I was thinking, there's no way this is going to be at all fulfilling. It's just going to suck my soul.
That's my thing. Tell me.
Yeah.
But so give me a little bit. Give me just a little bit just so we can get a little history. So you have this guy Benji or whomever is a promoter, kind of gets you, eventually woos you into doing the show, and then they say, "Hey, get a webcam, get your material, and we'll just ping you at 7." Give me a little bit of sort of the ones and zeros of how it works.
Oh, so they just give you a link. You just get an account on Zoom. They give you a link. You click the link, and it goes straight to the show. And you can see...
You see the audience?
No.
Good.
Sometimes you can see the audience. Sometimes you can't. It depends on who's conducting the Zoom.
Okay.
But you can hear the audience or you cannot. Again, it depends on who's operating it.
Okay.
But you can see, I can see the ones I've done. I can see all the comedians. You can see their reactions. You can hear their laughs. You can hear the audience's laughs. Benji he was kind of a good coach. He was saying, kind of treat it more like a podcast. It felt like low stakes.
Sure.
But it was really, I was still using material, but I was just using it in a different way. It was nice. It was a bit more conversational. And people Venmo'd me, audience members Venmo'd me
go.
to the show and told me I was funny. So
let's go. No, I mean, you're definitely funny, but it's one of these things where I just wonder, when you're on there, I want to get a little bit of that just because from the comic standpoint, and hopefully, this will be intriguing to people, but you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I got to do this show. How many minutes is it? It's just 5 or 10?
So I did 10 minutes,
okay.
And that's also the interesting thing. 10 minutes is a lot more material when there are very few laughs.
Well said.
In a way, what I realized is there are laughs. It's just you may not necessarily hear them all, or they're quieter, or it's muffled, and so I had to remind myself to slow down and continue it in a more conversational way.
Sure.
And leave room for the laughs, whether or not you hear them.
Yeah. Do you choose whether to hear them or not, or do they say you'll hear audience or you won't hear audience?
Yeah, it's the
the admin.
Yeah, it's admin. I believe it's the person who's operating this. And then people themselves can mute their mics mics or not.
Sure.
So everybody who dials in can either be muted or not muted.
And so you're sitting there and you're like, okay, got my link. It's like whatever. We're about, 5-10 minutes before. Are you like sitting at your desk? Are you sitting at a table? Like, how are you getting yourself in the mood,
Yeah, I totally do. Like, I mean, I honestly, I make it as much like a comedy show as possible, which really helps me. So I go have a smoke, drink, get a drink. Usually these days it's a martini.
But whatever, getting your drink on before the show is just like a regular show.
Yep. It's really difficult to be sexually harassed by comics right before the show.
Yeah, what do you do then now? How do you fulfill that gap, Rach?
But sometimes they manage still, so.
Oh, they call you. I heard you're having a show. What are you wearing? Oh, Jesus, now?
Well, actually, because you can see all the comedians before the show. We all kind of pop up.
Okay.
And so the last show, a dude comic actually managed to get a good cleavage comment in there before the show. So
tight cleavage.
I thanked him for making me feel so, like non-quarantine comedy,
This is just like the good old days.
Pretty much.
Okay, a couple other things I have about the Zoom comedy just because I think this is fun. So, Do you have a green screen?
No, I don't.
So what do you put behind you? Do you put like curtains or a wall, anything?
Well, I pick kind of a plain looking room, so there's not much to see.
Okay.
I sit on a high backed black leather sofa.
Did you do anything with the lighting?
No, I haven't, but I do need to think about those things. And a green screen would be cool because then you can change the backgrounds.
Sure. Do you find anybody had that stuff? Like when you watch the other comedians, but did you find that it added an effect? Like, their lighting made me think that the mood's better, or is it the same shit?
I like the lighting just because, you look better,
Sure,
I guess.
okay.
But, that's just me being vain.
You're the only one. No, seriously, everybody. But I'm just wondering, like, if they're in like a bright kitchen and they're telling a joke, whether if they're in where they set up like a light, just kind of like intimating more of the comic vibe as opposed to like, I'm wondering if that has an effect. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of, because the medium is so different, like artificially creating a stage feels artificial.
Totally nailed it.
As opposed to just talking into the camera. So I really do just lean in and you see like my shoulders and my head and the screen for the most part.
Sure.
And what I think I've realized is it's no matter what, comedy is being authentic. And so when you add in those like inauthentic pieces, I don't know, it doesn't work for me.
Oh, no, I agree. And this is the things I want to know. I've been asked, luckily enough, to do a couple Zoom shows, but I have not brought myself to the point yet. I just still like to create from my closet and talk to those on the outside. What's it like? But like, I want to know a little bit about it.
Low stakes, though.
Yeah, but I think that there's that sort of like, I like the idea of, I'm thinking of myself, like what I did to prepare for like, when we would play at the store, we would play it, like a Friday, Saturday night gig that we do. And like how you prepare for that. And then it's like, oh, should I put this shirt on? Nah, I think this one makes me laugh. This is nice. And then it's like, then sitting on your couch, like all that procedure and then sitting on your couch. Like I want to believe, but I want to feel like when you get there, I mean, I'm assuming when people are watching and you got to be funny, it's kind of the same thing, but just prepping it and getting yourself up to that point, did it take a little bit of like, or did you feel like the nerves and the bugs, or did you not?
I didn't feel, it doesn't feel the same at all.
Nah.
It's pretty low stakes feeling. For the last comedy show I did, it was called The Blues Show, so it was like dirty. It was a dirty show, so I wore a very low cut top. Hey.
Nah, that's the way. I mean, there's the thing. It's like that's the fun of like when we used to go out, like those bits, like when you used to play, it kind of plays against it because people see you. and they see how you're dressed, and then you're like, I got a kid, and you do these bits about kids, and people are like, oh man, now I can connect with you. Now you're not one of these like struppets or whatever. But I'm like, now you're like, and it works. It totally works. And I mean, you'll hear it in the bit I played before, but like there is this element to it where I think like, how does that translate in the room when you're just on your couch, and like, what do you do? Like, for example, like when you're doing your bits, like you talked about leaning in, like, do you lean in? Do you open your hands? Like, do you do kind of things that are, staging?
Yeah, I haven't, because I really am about like shoulders and head, like in this screen.
So crazy.
You don't see hand gestures. But I will be drinking a martini usually as well.
That'll help for sure.
So like that helps me slow down and take a beat, So I'll like tell a joke, hit the punchline, and then have a sip of my martini,
Sure. Yeah, no, it's good. It's Dean Martini. I get it. I got the vibe. Totally. And then I wanted to also ask you about like, upcoming stuff. Like, you got, I'm sure you had things planned in the future that all got postponed or whatever.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? I mean, I'm asking everybody I'm interviewing, what do you think the next step is? I mean, you think that your clubs are going to open up? Do you think everybody's going to have to wear a mask at the club?
Can you imagine doing comedy with a mask?
Do you believe it? I don't think that's possible. I don't think that. That's what I want to know. Yeah.
It's not possible. Like, the whole point is to see each other's faces. Like, you can't connect. I was thinking, honestly, and no one's allowed to steal this idea.
Sure.
But I was thinking, what we need are clear face masks. Because we're all going to have to wear them.
This is true.
We can't connect as humans because we can't see each other's faces.
This is true.
So if we had like really thin, clear face masks that were still like
hypoallergenic,
FDA approved or whatever, then we could still all like be the social beings that we are.
No, I agree. It's one of those things where you don't have the sort of, I don't have sort of the will or want at this point to buy a mask. Like I have masks from like when I spray painted something 3 years ago and I kept the painter's mask, and I've been using that just over and over again. Every time I scroll through my, Instagram feed or whatever, I see like, get a tiger on your face, get the American flag on your face. And I feel like I do not want to do that. I feel like I want to protect people, but I don't want to, like, I bought a face mask. I can't do it yet.
Well, I wear it when I go to the grocery store.
You have to, right? I have to. But I'm not going to go and, like, buy a Louis Vuitton face mask. You know what I mean? Like, I wear it because I got to wear it. But, like, the idea of, like, accessorizing face masks, that's where I get
My favorite clothing designer is making face masks, and it's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm not gonna wear a Reformation face mask. All my clothes, and you guys will see it on YouTube or whatever, everything I wear is Reformation, but I'm not putting it on my face. I'm sorry.
That's very good. That's really good. Because it's like, I don't want to, it's too much. Now I'm getting involved in this. And that's the thing. And that's maybe part of my fear for the Zoom mic stuff. It's like it's all fear-based. Everything for this whole idea is just fear-based. Have you been doing anything to stay positive? Anything like motivating? I know, like, do you like take walks? Do you like do self-talk? Do you do anything like that? You have a puppy, that helps, right?
I've just started writing jokes, which is actually helping a lot. I've been writing a lot of, honestly, COVID jokes.
Nice.
But that helps a lot. I do yoga.
Nice.
I work out. I YouTube videos. I'm like, I hate my inner thighs. I YouTube videos. And like today is inner thigh day. Like I just, try and find like just things to get out of my head. So mostly exercise and writing. I play online games with my kid.
There you go. Anything particular? What's the one, the online game?
Well, he's currently kicking my ass at Words with Friends.
Okay.
Which is slightly embarrassing since I have a degree in English.
But you raised him right.
And I think he's cheating.
You raised him right.
No, I the opposite of me, and made good choices. But we also play Catan. There's an online version of Settlers of Catan.
Wow.
So that's really fun. It's like the board game, and it's on your phone.
Not totally. But also, like, just to connect with your kid, like, I mean, just to have that sort of, like, where it's not like Call of Duty, it's something like Smarty Smart.
That's my kid. He's not a Call of Duty kid.
Nice.
He's a nerdy nerd. He plays the flute, guys.
See, I told people at the beginning of your intro, you used to be a teacher, and it's just like, and that carries to everything, man. Like, the games you play are only educational. And I remember when we talked, one of the things was I would like say something like, yeah, I like when this fibbity does this. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's your blind spot. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And you're like, let me bring out this chalkboard. And you're like, a blind spot is when someone... And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, there's a whole thing to this. You're not just farting on stage. You're organizing it. And so, like, I think that element of it is, like, I appreciate that very much. And I think that you have that sort of thing. But, like, to not, like, how do you translate that into everything? And that was the thing I was thinking. I want to find out what she's doing in these Zooms, man. Is she like, and you're like, Head and Shoulders and martinis?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing in the Zooms. I'm zooming on my martinis.
That's me. Before we wrap up, I want to know where people can find you. Can you, like, announce your websites, your videos, any place that people can find you, the gram?
Oh, yeah. I have a website, Rachel Dee. And then my gram
is it .org, .org, .web?
Yeah, what is it? I don't know. When was the last time?
We'll put it on the screen. We'll find it in the post.
It's Rachel Dee Comedy RachelDeeComedy.com.
RachelDeeComedy.com.
And then do people call it the gram?
I thought they did, but I'm old pretending to be young. So
I never know how old I am.
Hit me up on the gram. See how younger I sounded?
Insta, the gram, Instagram.
Slide into my DMs, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, please entertain me. Slide into my DMs.
Slide into my DMs. That's not how it works, Grandpa.
Don't you remember when I was like, please don't slide into my DMs? And I'm like, Jesus, I'm so bored. Please.
I know, right? I just want someone to talk about.
I know. But on Instagram, I'm Rachel _D123.
Awesome. Do you do Twitter?
Did you? Oh, no, I don't. That's something I know. I'm so horrible.
The thing is, I normally don't do Twitter. I just post my gram stuff to Twitter. But, as a up-and-coming, bright, shining star, Rachel, you got to have Twitter. This is how the people will connect to you.
And then, yeah, the people
need a place to find you. And then as far as they'll find all those Zoom shows and stuff like that, do you got any other shows coming up soon?
Yeah, I have a Zoom show coming up through Glassdoor again on the 30th.
30th?
Yep.
Excellent. People will look up on the website and find that, on the Instagram and find that. I'm attending my first Zoom show, so if it comforts me and I don't feel too nervous, I will attend your Zoom show as well.
Ooh, that would be very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's one of these things where I'm worried that people are going to see me, and I was like, I don't want you to see me. I'm in my pajamas. I want to listen to you and judge you silently at home. This is the whole advantage of it. And so
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Jason, you can attend it in just a shirt.
No, I know, and which is my preference, and socks, of course, and my hat. But the idea of when it's like click attend, like when I hit attend, I don't want people to like hear me. Like, I don't want to, like, cough or say, like, what the fuck did they say? And then someone says, like, I heard somebody on the mic. I'd rather, like...
mute yourself.
Oh, right. But that's the thing. Like, I feel bad because it's like a two-edged thing where I want comedians to know I thought they were funny. I also don't want anyone to hear me. So I don't know.
You're the shittiest audience member.
I'm an excellent audience member when it's live. We're doing live. But I'm worried about the Zoom. But I'm attending one on Saturday. I'll let you know how it goes. And then if it goes well, I will definitely attend other ones. But Rachel Dee, this was super fun. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with me. This was super fun. Thank you. That was the lovely Rachel Dee. It was so good to talk to her. And it was so good to hear that she is doing well. You can find her at Rachel_D123 on the Instagram. And if you just Google Rachel Dee Comedy, you'll find her everywhere on the YouTube. This has been the ReUp. Thank you so much for listening. Please continue to listen, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're going to have more fun interviews with fun comedians, having a fun time during this fun time. Thanks for listening.